All right, next up, give a big QuaranPalooza welcome to Banjer Dan.
I hope you can hear me. I took off my outside speaker. I see the thumb up. Life is good. In that case, I'm just going to get started and say, "Wow, banjos rock!" Oh yeah. I really appreciate that. So
Oh, we have
I
a
heard.
request. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. We have a
Yeah,
request to tilt your camera down to see more of your banjo. There. Thank
there
you.
we go. Now you're missing my hat, but I can move back a little bit. There we go.
Yes.
And my logo, but who cares? Okay. So I'm Banjer Dan out of the Washington, D.C. area. And a little bit ago, we had a Christmas song. I'm so bad with names, but so usually if you see me at a club or whatever, I'll do a whole bunch of covers because that's what I like. But I'm going to do some originals. And this is one that I wrote with my ex to bridge the emotional gap between Halloween and Christmas. Oh, Flopsy, the dead man, was a dear departed soul, with a torn windpipe and a rotten nose, and his eyes were sunken holes. Flopsy, the dead man, was a scary tale, they say. He had gone to hell, but the ghoulies tell how he came to life one day. There must have been some maggots in those crusty pants he wore, for when he shook his bony leg, they would fall out on the floor. For Flopsy, the dead man, was alive as he could be, and the zombies say he could laugh and play, so it's the same as you and me. Oh, Flopsy, the dead man, knew the sun was hot that day, so he said, let's run and we'll have some fun now before I rot away. Down to the village with the buzzards circling low, he ran here and there all around the square, and he tossed each one a toe. He led them down the streets of town right to the mausoleum, and they only paused a moment when they heard an awful scream. For Flopsy, the dead man, was the scavenger's buffet. But he waved a thigh and said, don't you cry, I'll be back again someday. Oh, sluffity, sluff, stuff, sluffity, sluff, stuff, that's how Flopsy goes. Sluffity, sluff, stuff, sluffity, sluff, stuff, watch him decompose. Everybody, sluffity, sluff, stuff, sluffity, sluff, stuff, that's how Flopsy goes. Sluffity, sluff, stuff, sluffity, sluff, stuff, watch him decompose. He waved a thigh and said, don't you cry, I'll be back again someday.
I think some intervention is called for.
Maybe just a little bit. No, my ex and I together, we had quite the sick sense of humor.
It's hilarious.
So Majoy, I believe it was her name, just did a song about and said that she loved her day job. I have been lucky enough to avoid having a day job for several years because I am online and in the world is Banjer Dan. Wow, banjos rock. But I wrote this song many years ago before I knew about the transnational banking conspiracy that's running our lives. This is a portrait of someone who does not like his day job. This is called The Guys in the Suits and Ties. When you're dealing with the guys in the suits and ties, money talks. When you're looking for an answer in their cold, flat eyes, you know what walks. If I could find my way back to the days of my youth, when life was just a search for beauty and truth, I'd stay far from the guys in the suits and ties. In the office all day, you start to lose touch with what is real, when the only thing you think about all day long is the next deal. You're trapped in a box breathing old stale air, and you run your fingers through your graying hair, and you're surrounded by the guys in the suits and ties. When I was young, I swore I'd never live that life. Now I'm tied to a mortgage and a car in the arms of a loving wife. So I have to leave my kids to go and chase a dollar. I got my neck piece of chafe in its starched white collar, because I'm one of the guys in the suits and ties. When I was in school, I wouldn't follow the rules. I didn't want to live that way. But later on, I thought all I wanted could be bought. I believed the things that money had to say. Now I get my vacation and we go away for 2 short weeks. But no matter where we go, I just can't find the peace I seek. At the end of the summer, I still can't relax, and the doc gives me pills for my aching back, because I'm living with the guys in the suits and ties. So the companies use me till I'm all worn out, and I've got nothing more. So they'll throw me a party and they'll say, well done, now here's the door. I'll get a pension and a watch and the time to dream about all the things that might have been. And I'll be buried, in a suit and tie. Thank you. Yeah, maybe just a little bit of bitterness, a little resentment in that song, but that's okay. So, friends, I got time for, actually, I theoretically have 6 whole minutes left, don't I, or something like that. But I'm going to do a medley of my big hit here. This is called "The Longer You Live." This was inspired by the death of Walter Cronkite, where I turned on the TV and I was hanging out with JB Beverly, and we found out that Walter Cronkite had just died. And I thought, well, there's another one, a celebrity this time, in addition to friends and family. And we've all had the experience of losing pets, etc. So I started writing this song, and it took me about 3 years to finish, but I do like it. The longer you live. Well, the longer you live, the more people you're gonna see die. And the longer you live, the more tears you're gonna cry. Well, the longer you live, the more you're gonna feel sorrow and pain. So you might as well accept it, or else it just might drive you insane. Well, the longer you live, the more people gonna break your heart. And the longer you live, the more your body and your mind fall apart. Well, the longer you live, the more likely that you're gonna get hurt. And the longer you live, that's just the sooner you'll be under the dirt. That's right. Well, the longer you live, the more you see how they rig the game. And the longer you live, you see it always turns out the same. Well, the longer you live, the more you're tempted to give up and give in. But you're better off deciding to fight until the bitter end. You know why? Because the longer you live, the more babies you're gonna see born. And the longer you live, another sunrise and beautiful morn. Another night to gaze in wonder at the heavens above. And the longer you live, the more chances that you have to make love. That's right. Friends, that does it for the Banjer Dan show. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks, John, for organizing this wonderful concert. I will do some more of them. I'm going to repeat the first verse. I need you to shout back at your computer the last couple of words of every line. And then when I get to the part about going insane, please give me some insane laughter. Okay? Okay? Okay. Here we go. Well, the longer you live, the more people you're gonna see die. Gonna see die. And the longer you live, the more tears you're gonna cry.
Gonna cry.
The longer you live, the more you're gonna feel sorrow and pain. Thank you. So you might as well accept it, or else it just might drive you insane. Yeah, you better just accept it, or else it just might drive you insane. Yeah, you better just accept it, or else it just might drive you insane. Wow, that just rocks! Thank you, friends. Good afternoon.